Hey guys, in this video I'm going to talk about the newest update in the whole MrBeast versus Dogpack 404 situation. As many of you know, and I've actually covered the situation in previous videos, Dogpack 404 is a former employee of MrBeast that is currently trying to expose him as a fraud and as a bad person that stages his videos, that is running illegal lotteries, and in general that is doing a lot of bad things. And in his newest video, he actually interviewed a former employee of MrBeast, another former employee, and we know that this employee actually did work for MrBeast. We actually have video proof, as he actually appeared in videos such as the one in which he ruins his the car of his friend and then gives him a new one. He actually was one of the people that appeared in that video and whose car was crashed and was completely destroyed by a giant rock that was called a meteorite. This person is called Jake Weddle, and he actually stopped working at MrBeast during 2019, according to what I remember from the video. And allegedly, he was fired because he pretty much wanted or was asking MrBeast or the company for better pay, because he was a grader and he wasn't earning all that much from the company. And according to what I understood, he pretty much wanted a raise. He just asked for a raise, and the next day he was fired. He was fired for a completely unfair reason. And okay, that's one thing. A lot of people are fired from their jobs, maybe from asking a raise, for doing certain things. That is nothing new. Yeah, it's a pretty scummy thing to do, especially if you are the boss, you have a lot of money, and you are underpaying your employees, and they are just asking for a raise. It's obviously a very bad thing to fire them just because of that. You can always reach an agreement, or a lot of things could have done, but that as of itself doesn't necessarily make MrBeast a bad person. It's something that a lot of people have done throughout history. It's nothing of the other world. It's nothing out of this world. But what is out of this world and what is truly evil is what happened 2 years later, allegedly. This person, Jake, he was contacted by MrBeast and his team 2 years later in 2021. They wanted to make a video in which a person was going to spend 100 days in solitary confinement, without having any external contact with people from the outside world, and having to live in a confined space during 100 days. And that is of itself is completely scary. Vsauce and MrBeast itself have done these sort of challenges, and it's only for one day. And with that, even only with that, by the end of the video they are completely distressed and stressed. It's not a fun experience being in solitary confinement. We humans are social beings. We like to spend our time with other people. It's not healthy for us to be confined in a reduced space for long periods of time. So yeah, that of itself is a very bad idea, honestly. It's a very red flag. But well, Jake Weddle decided to accept because he needed the money, and he thought it was going to be a good opportunity because he was going to be the star of one video, right? So he accepted. But the thing is that once the challenge started, he was actually the room in which he stayed during the challenge ended up only lasting 10 days. Because of the 10 days he was forced to quit, or he needed to quit because of his mental state and for his own mental health. But well, the room in which he was forced to stay was a room that in paper sounded very nice. It had a bathtub, it had an ice cream machine. However, according to him, after only 3 days, the bathtub was already extremely smelly, and since it didn't have proper filtration, the water went bad, and it ended up smelling really bad, and the water, yeah, it was a bad tub, a very bad tub, and the ice cream machine that they reused was also kind of smelly, and after a few days it also ended up giving a bad stench to the room. So yeah, it was pretty much unbearable by the stench of the room alone. But then another thing that he was forced to live in there was that they refused to turn off the lights during the night, or at least for a few hours, to let him sleep. And obviously because of that, he was sleep deprived, and he didn't had a proper understanding of how the time was passing. You know, he didn't knew if it was only 1 day or 2 days. He had no contact with the exterior world, so it was very difficult for him to know how much time had elapsed. And since he had few contact with other people, yeah, he was pretty much going crazy in there, you know. He was trying to give a good personality because their cameras were rolling, but in the inside, the footage, actually the editors even said that according to him, the footage that they captured was very haunting, because they could see him pretty much being completely distressed and in a bad state of mind because of this challenge. And we can actually see him physically distressed all throughout the video. In the interview, he actually cries a lot, and I think there are genuine fears because of him having to recount his very bad experience with this video. And pretty much after 10 days, MrBeast came to a room and told him that in order to continue with the challenge, he actually had to solve a Rubik's Cube, and that he had to run a marathon, which is as of itself a challenge as of itself. You know, it could be a completely different video, but no, here we have a tired and sleep deprived person that has had no contact with other people for 10 days. It's obviously a recipe for a bad moment, you know. And he actually completed the challenge. He ran the marathon, but obviously at the end his feet were full of blisters and he was extremely tired. And when he actually asks production how many more days he had, and he realized that he only had been there for a few days, and that in order to make the video like make sense, he needed to be at least another 20 or 10 days. He said, no, this is it, I can't do it anymore, I'm already tired, I'm already stressed. So pretty much they ended the video right there. MrBeast only gave him like a few $1,000s, or I think it was like $100,000, but this was nothing because he ended up paying $44,000 in taxes. So yeah, he actually gave away a huge amount of the money. And yeah, it was in general a very bad experience for him. Not worth it, not worth it in terms of the monetary gain he ended up getting. And yeah, in general, actually, one thing he actually claims is that when he wanted to sleep, actually MrBeast woke him up in order to make the challenge a little bit more challenging. And this is actually pretty evil, because if this is true, he actually is violating the Geneva Convention, which says that no physical or mental torture or any form of correction or coercion may be inflicted on prisoners of war or people detained, you know. And yeah, maybe he was there out of his own will for a challenge for a YouTube video, but there was a lot of pressure on his part to stay there, you know, to win the I think it was $500,000, the ultimate prize he was going to get, you know. So yeah, it was a very bad experience, a very bad idea, and the worst part is that he didn't even, the video wasn't even uploaded, you know. It ended up being just a test for an actual video that was only 24 hours of MrBeast in solitary confinement. So yeah, very bad experience, and he didn't even make the cut to the final video. So if this is true, which I actually believe it might be, because this is an actual person that actually worked for MrBeast in the times that he claims he did, this is all a bad look for MrBeast, to be honest. And yeah, I'm also going to talk in other videos about the other claims made in that video, but yeah, in this video I just wanted to talk about that whole situation, try to summarize it and speak my opinion a little bit about it. So yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching.